What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to talk about Cardano and exactly why you should not be giving up on Cardano. I'm seeing everyone sort of just writing Cardano off like it's never going to move up again. I'm going to show you guys exactly why you should not do that. And now is the time where you really should be sort of paying attention to Cardano, not after it starts moving back up. All right. So make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter. Go follow the Discord. Links are down in the description for those two. Let's jump on into the video. So right now, as we've been talking about for weeks, guys, Cardano has been consolidating in a bull flag. Okay. You might be saying, Jordan, is this going to play out? Well, right now we might be getting a little bit of a breakout here for Cardano. But what I will state is I do not think that we're going to get that massive move just yet. And I'm going to show you guys exactly why. Yes, we're getting the breakout for Cardano out of this bull flag. All right. Now, what I want to compare it to today, guys, is the last consolidation we had back here down in around the same time frame in 2020. Okay. Cardano did pretty much the exact same thing. So if we go back up here real quick, we have our previous high up here for Cardano, right? Back in May. Well, we've kind of consolidated back below our previous highs, which we know is typically not a good thing. We usually want to consolidate above our previous highs and confirm them as support before moving up. But this time we actually consolidated down in a bull flag. Not what we want to do. And then we're started trying to break out now, right? Below our previous highs. Now you guys get that. So let's go back in time here. Let's go look back in 2020. You guys can see what I'm sort of talking about here. So if we go back to 2020, you can see we did a relatively the same thing, right? Before Cardano had a little bit of a nothing burger in the market for a long time, from August to November. Now, everyone back then was saying the same thing. You guys know I'm a big fan of Cardano. I've been a fan of Cardano since all the way back here when it was, 6-7 cents. You guys can go check my channel before, when we talked about it before. It did a similar thing down here when no one was talking about it, right? People only like to talk about coins when they're doing well. And people only like to start talking about it when coins actually start pumping. But if you go back and look, we had a previous high in July, guys, right? And we sort of had a long time of really a nothing burger on the daily from Cardano for a couple months, right? A couple months. And then we sort of started making our way back up again. And we formed, what is it? A bull flag below our previous highs, okay? A lot of people were saying the same thing back there where Cardano couldn't hold its previous highs. Cardano's never going to do anything, right? Then you had the exact same bull flag consolidation, time under below your previous high. And then you finally broke out and started moving on up. And I think we're going to see a similar thing happen here for Cardano. Now, it might not be a breakout right away. You can see right here, Cardano did break out, and then it had about another week of just sort of sideways action before moving on up. So you can see the similarities between that and our current market, right? A lot of similarities between that and our current market. Now, if we go back and look here, I just have it sort of overlaid for you guys so you guys can see the significant similarities, right? If you overlay it, you guys can see the similarities between the two consolidation periods, right? You guys can see it right here. So this is overlaid. You guys can see that the similarities between the two. And this is not it. We're also going to compare it to Ethereum in 2017, guys, in just a second. Now, you can see here, you had your first run up, you had your first little peak, first sell off, and then another run up, and then a consolidation for a while. Another run up, you sort of made a higher high. Relatively, Cardano likes to make these higher highs, and we've seen Ethereum kind of make horizontal highs on sort of the fractals here. And then after you made that higher high, you consolidated for another 4 or 5 weeks, and then you moved on up, right? We know this was a bull flag, just like it is in this time frame here. And then you can see what happened on the weekly after that. Now we're doing the same thing, right? We came up, the first sell-off, okay, and then we moved on up, and then we sort of made a first high, consolidated for months. Everyone's sort of given up on it, calling it a stable coin and whatnot. And then it moves on up and makes a higher high, right? And then it can't get it. It falls back below its previous high, and everyone's calling it dead. It's in a bull flag again, and I could probably see the same thing happening here over the next couple weeks. Now, what I will state here, guys, is it might be Bitcoin's time to shine for a little bit. So you might not see the explosive gains right away. And I don't want you guys to get upset if you are in Cardano that you don't see the explosive gains right away. Historically, we've seen Bitcoin outpace altcoins usually in October, November, in the beginning of December, historically. You guys can go back to 2020, that was the case. You guys can go back to 2017, that was the case. And you guys can go back to 2016, and that was the case. Usually in the months of October, November, and the beginning of December, we see altcoins outpace, or we see Bitcoin outpace altcoins. So don't be upset if we don't see Cardano, blast up to the moon right away, okay? But it will be coming, and I'm pretty confident in that. We're going to have that second leg of the market. Now, if we compare it to Ethereum back in 2017, you can see that Ethereum had a or sort of a three-peak cycle, right? Where it had that first cycle up here. So over on the left here, we can see this is Ethereum, guys. And over on the right, this is Cardano. You'll notice a lot of similarities. The only dissimilarity is Cardano likes to make a higher high on these consolidations, where Ethereum likes to make a horizontal high. Okay, you can see Ethereum here. You had your first run up, and you kept back testing our 20 and 30 week moving averages, which we use as our support bands for Ethereum and Cardano, because they usually end up being very, very perfect support. Okay, so over here, you had perfect support. Sort of made this first high here, and you sort of had a double peak. And then one thing with Ethereum here is you did have this weird little drop here in the end of 2016, which kind of throws it off a little bit. But what I will say is this is sort of an outlier in this whole thing. And then you sort of came back up and you smashed it. You smashed this on the third try. Okay. And then obviously up here, you had the same type of thing. Came back down to the 20 week, came back down to the 20 week, came back down to the 20 week. And then boom, you smashed it. All right. And I think this is, we're going to see the same thing for Cardano back here. Similar, right? You came up, you held the 20 week, held the 30 week. The 20 and 30 week for weeks here, moved on up, came back down to the 20 week. Okay. Right here. And then you sort of smashed through it. So the same thing here. You made a high, came back down to the 20 and 30 week, came back up, came back down to the 20 week. And I'm expecting you to smash through it again and make that third peak here for Cardano. Like I said, if Bitcoin leads the show here for a couple more weeks, do not be surprised, but do not fret from your Cardano. I'm telling you right now, we will see another altcoin rally. And I do think Cardano will be one of the biggest gainers in that altcoin rally. I think people are sort of sleeping on it because it hasn't moved in a couple months. You guys got to understand this is what Cardano does. This is what Ethereum does. When you get these high cap altcoins, they tend to have some lags in the market. They tend to go sideways for a couple months to a couple weeks. And then when they finally break out, they finally go really, really big. I mean, we've seen it countless times for Cardano. We've seen that countless times for Ethereum back in 2017 and in 2020, guys. ETH can go sideways for months and then boom, right? Sideways for 2 months, boom, sideways, boom. It's what Ethereum likes to do. And I think Cardano is sort of getting into that realm of a super high cap where it sort of had these lulls. It sort of has these lags in the market. And then boom, it continues up. Now, if we go to the Cardano Bitcoin pair, you can sort of compare it to that same type of thing, guys, right? So what I'm sort of comparing this to is the same thing back here in March of 2021. Okay, so back here in March of 2021, Cardano had this big run up, and a lot of people were expecting it to on the Cardano Bitcoin pair to come back down and test this previous high back in July. But what it did is actually tested its previous high from all the way back here on the left. And, similarly, this is what it tends to do. Now, a lot of people up here were like, all right, Cardano broke this high on the Cardano Bitcoin pair. Probably means that Bitcoin's going to be outpacing Cardano, which has been a fact, right? Bitcoin has outpaced Cardano for the past month or so. But what I will say is you've actually come back down, wicked off this previous high looking left again. Now, if this is any indication what's happened in the past, you usually have a nice bounce from these previous highs. Does it mean it can't go lower? Not necessarily. I do think Cardano will kind of bounce around here on the Cardano Bitcoin pair and then eventually get that move back up a little bit later in the year. Okay, but I basically wanted to make this video because I see a lot of the hype on Cardano kind of going away. People sort of sleeping on it because you have other projects like Solana and Atom and Phantom and projects like that, and Algorand and Avalanche, all these projects starting to get up the hype. And when you start looking at these other projects and you sort of leave the project that was a big mover in the beginning of the cycle, when the second leg of the altcoin season, which I do expect to come a little bit later this year, does pick up, I expect Cardano to be one of the biggest gainers. Again, nothing's really changed in my mind. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys hit up that like button and make sure you guys go to join the Twitter and the Discord down below. I'll catch you guys in the stream tonight, guys. All right, peace.